important, no matter what you do, to be comfortable. So,
Yeah.
that's the moral of today's episode. Thank you for listening to Sessions with Mary Jane. I am...
Bye.
Goodbye. Everyone wave. Goodbye. No, we wave hello to you. I'm Brendan.
I'm Reena.
And I'm Jordan Freed.
Yes, he is.
We go by first name.
Yeah, we're all
Nobody
Freeds.
needs to know.
No, we're all
I'm
Freed.
fried. I'm
No,
fried
no, me
right
and
now.
Ezra.
Yes.
Don't take my last name.
Well,
Just put it out there.
Yeah, wait. Whose last name will I take? I will take the last name of
Anthony.
Of Anthony. Of our guest.
Introduce
Who I was so close. I was like getting ready to introduce him, and then I got hung up on the whole last name thing. But anyway, guys, our guest is here. He is a comedian. My phone just dropped. It's Ralph Anthony. Give it up for him wherever you are. Thanks for being here, Ralph.
Hell yeah. This is great. Thank you. It's so much fun.
we just started.
Yeah. We had a little off the record podcast, and now we're having
yeah.
an on the record podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to have like a scandalous pre-podcast to get us like a little toasty.
Yeah. Before we get into it, because we always forget, Brendan is going to let you know your challenge today.
So throughout the course of this entire podcast, it's no pressure, but whenever you think of items on a list we're going to give you, you just shout them out, and then we're going to compile them and see how many you get, and then put them up against the range that we've had, where we've had some people who gotten close to or have exceeded 90, and then we have people who have literally gotten 0. So
90?
Yes.
Yeah. And they've each had a different category.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you get whatever you get. And we none of us will be upset, so don't worry. But your challenge is to name as many modes of transportation that you can name. So
should I write this down?
No,
we'll record it.
Yes, and like you can interrupt in the middle of conversations.
Our PA.
Yes, our PA collects all the data. Shout out to our PA for working hard.
That Excel sheet done. You have my Friday.
That's right. So you just say them whenever you think of them. So
should I start now?
You can start whenever
If you want to. Yeah.
I feel like I should because I'll lose focus very quickly.
Yes.
Understandable.
As goes the game often with people.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, and I feel like if I yell out, helicopter 30 minutes from now, people are going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but
the
then
helicopter goes on the board
and
now.
then it has,
Yeah. There we go.
Alright, so we got helicopter, car, motorcycle, bicycle, 3-wheeler, dirt bike, boat, surfboard.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're,
Interesting.
you're living out in the water.
Mode of transportation. Well, yeah. What's
Have
point
you
A?
ever surfed?
What's point A? What's point B?
No, I'd kill myself.
Are you a water guy in general? Like, do you like being out in the water?
Yeah,
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Well, actually, when I was a kid, growing up like a little kid, I wanted to be like Jacques Cousteau. Because I love the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
New Paltz.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, most people think I'm from Brooklyn, which is
Didn't
terrible.
think
No.
Do you know Tim Barge?
Dude, I always get it.
What?
Wait, Tim Barge. Why does that sound familiar?
No, he like does comedy, and he's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
From New Paltz.
No, and he's from New Paltz too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, New
I
Paltz.
have no idea.
No, but you guys are probably different eras of New Paltz.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it there? And growing up there, did you like that?
I didn't appreciate it enough growing up. Because when you're a kid, you're fucking stupid. And I was like, I'm leaving. Fuck you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
And then I went up to Albany, and that was...
That's such a weird...
Yeah. Well, I went there for college. And
Oh, right. Got
and,
you. Okay.
when I graduated, the recession hit. And I was like, well, we're stuck here for now. But yeah, I liked it, I mean, I like it going back now. It's great. Fresh air, peace and quiet. Good weed, good food.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually bring the weed from here, but
Right.
growing up, they had great weed in Paltz.
I can imagine. When did you smoke weed for the first time?
Oh, man, I was 14 years old. Yeah, 14 years old. I was with my buddy Chris Parasaw and our buddy John. And we were at Chris's house, and we smoked a blunt by his pool. His parents went to sleep, and we snuck outside, smoked a blunt by the pool, and then we went back into his house, and I could not. I had such cotton mouth, and I was so hungry. I could not stop eating.
Yeah.
And and that's the problem. I love this candy bowl. We're all gonna have diabetes at the end of this.
Yeah. We got one of our writers in our production company, Jen Dizelle. Shout out to Jen. She sent us these candies from where? From
Dubai. The package came from Jen. There's others goodies in there from Dubai.
Yeah. Jen, you're the
Thanks,
best.
Jen. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She sponsors this episode.
Yeah. So we go back in the room because he's like, well, we can't be hanging out here. You're gonna wake my fucking parents up. His dad was a Vietnam War vet. And like, that's the last thing you want to wake up when you're stoned for the first time. Yeah. Some dude who thinks he's still in Vietnam. You're like, what the fuck? So we go back in. Chris is in his bed. John's on the floor on one side. I'm on the floor on the other side. But except what's above me is Chris's fucking punching bag. So this thing is just swirling around, and I kept going to them. I go, yo, is this thing gonna fall on me? And then, dude, I think my throat is closing up. And I said that for the entire night. And then I was hooked. Then I just wanted to get high all the time.
Yeah. So what about that experience, though, did make you want to, like, smoke weed more after that?
Oh, man. Dude, just getting stoned and laughing and goofing off with your buddies. I mean, I think that's the best. Like, weed has gotten so... Weed used to be like a group thing back in the day. I mean, this is awesome. I haven't sat down with other people and gotten... like a group of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, like, back in the day, it used to be like a group thing. Like, everybody would throw in on, like, a 20 bag. You and your buddies, everybody throws $5, get a 20 bag, you roll 2 giant blunts, and then everybody gets stoned. And now... You know, you buy a 50 bag of some funk and you're like, I'm not sharing with no one.
This is my medicine, man. I don't share my medicine.
How was the quality back then versus now? Or I guess your tolerance is different, though.
Tolerance is different, but the weed is way better.
Now.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Because back then it was like swag, mids, or chronic. Like that. You only had 3 kinds.
Right. Now you have so many different strains.
Yeah. Oh, man, we had this one strain, it was called Gak. Remember Gak from Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Yo, the shit was so green, it looked like Gak. And that's what we called it. And, like, I knew a dude.
That's so epic.
Oh, man, I knew a dude, and he would pull out, like, and why am I looking over at
the hidden camera?
Making sure no one else can hear this.
Yeah, we'll insert the stage directions afterwards so everyone knows where you were looking.
Yeah, stage left. He pulls out this giant, and I mean, epically giant, hefty black garbage bag, and just opens it up, and it's just all of this fucking Gak, and just takes a handful and goes, "Here, you're a good kid."
Oh.
I was like, "Good kid. I think you're like 4 years older than me."
Wow.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
The gift of weed is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Unicycle.
Yeah, there we go.
Nicely done.
Yes. You mentioned before you had some kind of altercation on a bicycle, right? Did you say that you had some kind of incident with a person on a bicycle?
Oh, on your way here. Was that us?
I don't think that was me.
Oh,
I've definitely had altercations with people. I could field your question.
Yeah, talk about bicycles. What do you think about bicycles, Ralph?
Well, I think bicycles are the worst thing that happened in New York City. It's either you got to have cars or bicycles, but we can't have both. Mm-hmm. We're not mature enough. People are not mature enough to be in a car or be on a bicycle and be in the same roadway. Because, like, before I started riding a bike, I hated bicycle people. Like, I almost got into a fist fight down by the Brooklyn Bridge because I was in a car and I almost clipped a guy who was on a bike weaving in and out of traffic. Then the pandemic hit and I got a bicycle and I was like, well, fuck these drivers.
You got to the other side.
Yeah. I'm like, red lights? Those red lights are for you. No, not at all. Yeah.
Also, it does frighten me when I see bikers in the city and they don't have helmets.
They're bold.
And they're whizzing through, exactly, yeah. They don't have, like, anything, which, like, I get it. Even if you got, like, hit, I'm not sure the helmet would do much good. I mean, it's still better than nothing. But you're still very exposed.
Yeah.
Like, also motorcyclists. I just can't, when people are driving, like, motorcycles and with nothing on. I was just like, you're a daredevil. How do you do this?
So scary.
Yeah,
So
no,
scary.
you're like listening to something, you're like jamming out to music, and then all of a sudden you see like somebody coming up and they almost clip your like mirror, and you're just like, how would I have seen you? Like, you came up so fast. Like, how often am I supposed to be looking on a highway when I'm in like the right lane? Like,
dude, I had that in Astoria. I was coming down the street. We had a green light. In my defense, the guy didn't have his left blinker on, so I thought he was going straight. But he goes to turn left, and I almost plow into him, and I go, bam, and I hit the fucking hood. Well, the dude fucking puts his car in reverse, backs up, throws it in drive, and peels off down the street to come after me. And I hear this engine coming, and I'm like, oh, this is my worst nightmare. One, because I try not to fight it. I don't want to fight anymore. It's been a long time. I don't want to get arrested. I'm like, just don't look. And then I hear the fucking. He had like an old, like a Chevy Blazer, like I don't know, something. I pictured this thing. I was like, yeah, this is what rednecks drive. Like, just get the fuck out of me. And I hear the engine. I hear the car coming closer and closer and closer. And finally, I see a driveway. So I dip off and I fucking ghost ride the bike into the guy's driveway, and I turn around, backpack on. I turn around like this, arms flexed, ready to fucking fight. And it turns out it was some dude's like grandfather, but he gets out of the car with a fucking tire iron.
Oh my goodness!
It was like, stay the fuck out of my road. So I go, learn how to fucking drive, old man.
His road.
Well, I guess you gotta respect the commitment he had, because he did not give up. He pursued you to the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also
played by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Get off my road.
That's also definitely a transplant thing. Like, you're coming into a person's like area when they've been like surviving in that area for years and years and years and been driving those roads for years and years and years.
Old people definitely.
Like, they'll fuck you up. Like, I never met my grandfather, but he always had a baseball bat in his car.
Yeah.
And like threatened to use it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know. We think these old people are just frail, and they match their frailty with craziness. Like, I would take a weak, crazy. I would take a strong, smart old man than over like a feeble, crazy old man.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, growing up, what did you do? Like, how did this go into comedy? How did you find, where did it start? I'm assuming.
Oh, man.
I don't mean stand-up specifically.
Yeah. My first job, I was 14, and my friend's parents owned this restaurant that had a comedy club attached to it. So as soon as I had my working papers, I started working at the restaurant, and then I just never wanted to go home. I was just always into the nightlife. I was enamored with like the kids in high school staying out late that were the waiters or the kitchen staff, or just, I never wanted to go home, so I would just stay for as late as I possibly could. So that meant sneaking over into the comedy club and just starting to bust tables. And so that was my first experiences with stand-up when I was 14. And I did that for 2 years. I did it for 2 years. And then...
anyone we would know who was in the club performing?
Yeah, where was the club?
The club was in New Paltz.
Oh, wow.
It used to be
The
called...
name of it?
It used to be called the Laughing Wolf Comedy Club.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah. And I met famous people, and I met famous people just within stand-up. Like, it was awesome, man. I met Ray Romano when he was coming up.
Oh,
Which
cool.
was pretty cool.
Did you love him?
He was a nice guy.
You could play him.
What's up?
You could play him. You just have the look.
You
You look like Ray Liotta. Yeah, you
Oh, these kids.
younger him because you're young.
Thank you.
Not Ray now. He's
Yeah.
he's
In his
what happened to his
60s.
skin?
Is
Yeah,
he?
in his
I
60s.
think he got
He's
old.
old. No, he's old. Yeah.
He's older. Yeah.
He's just old. Yeah. Still-
Thank you. That's
Still awesome.
such
Still
a
awesome.
great compliment.
He's a
Yeah,
man
no,
who looks
but
like
you
he
could,
enjoys
like,
his money, though.
Yes.
I feel like he does not work any harder than he has to work at this point.
No.
Like, he did the Ice Age movies and probably made bank.
Oh, you're right. He
Yeah,
did the
he was a
Ice
fucking
Age
man.
movies?
Yeah.
Was he in the Saber-Toothed Tiger?
No, he was the Woolly Mammoth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh.
I know, because it's hard to imagine Ray Romano, like the
Wait,
size.
you said Ray Romano. Wow, I was mega high.
Who'd you think I said?
Ray Liotta.
Oh.
That's why you look like
Yeah,
that.
wow.
You do not like Ray Romano. Why the
That
fuck
makes
is
more sense.
Ray Liotta? Hey, why is Ray Liotta in a comedy club? You did comedy for a bit? Didn't know me. That's why I was talking about how old he was. Also, Ray Romano. Yeah, he's so old.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
If you guys want the full
wow.
experience of seeing how much of a foible this was, go look up Ralph on his social media and see how much he looks more like Ray Liotta than he does like.
Sorry guys, that was such a hard moment. I totally misheard.
That's good. Ray Romano appreciates it.
You can check me out at Ralph the Mouth 81 to see this. See the comparison.
We're putting all your info
and no
in the
disrespect to Ray
description.
Romano. I'm humbled and props to Ray Liotta. Yes.
Yes.
Ray Liotta's doing tequila commercials now.
Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and George Clooney, they all go to alcohol. Ryan Reynolds has an
Yeah.
alcohol brand. They know
Yeah.
that's the moneymaker. Endorsements.
Yeah.
So
Big
funny.
markup.
You just go back to endorsements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's cool.
Yeah. So it's like, when did you try doing stand up for the first time? Then being around it.
15 years later. Literally, it was almost 15 years later.
Wow.
Well, 14, I guess I should say, because the restaurant closed.
Did you have an
15.
itch when you were a busboy? Like, were you back there being like, one day I'll try this?
Yeah, were you
or
writing
was it like
stuff?
no interest?
Yeah.
And it
No.
just took you a while to think about it.
I listen, I always loved stand-up, but it didn't seem like that could be like a career thing. Like, even though I was watching these comedians, it just didn't seem possible. Like, my parents were very by the book, it seemed like.
Yeah.
You know, go to college, get your degree, go work in corporate. My mom was a teacher, my dad was a financial planner. It's like, I don't know. I never knew parents that had, like, cool jobs. Like, I feel like a comic or a writer, it's a pretty fucking dope job.
Yeah.
No diss to teachers.
No diss to
Or
teachers.
financial
My girlfriend's a
guys
teacher.
do.
It's
But
just,
but as a teacher's job, my dad was also a teacher. You do feel like you can explore
that's a little
different
bit-
careers, right? Because like there is like an education focus, or nah.
when I got older.
Yeah.
When I got older.
Teacher though is still a little bit creative.
True.
You
Yeah,
know,
also
that's
that.
not like science and math and numbers only, and it's logic only. It's I don't know.
It's a different kind of creativity.
Yeah.
Like, I went to sales because it was so easy for me to talk to people. And my dad was a really good sales rep. The best I've ever seen. And so, like, it was like, well, this is fucking natural.
Well, that is sales. Yeah, is the business of people. That's the business you're in. So you need that quality. Yeah.
So so I went that route. Otherwise, maybe I would have gotten into stand up earlier. It's a conversation I dealt with a lot. It's a conversation I dealt with a lot during the pandemic because you're just left with your own thoughts. And like when you meditate and journal every day, you're like, well,
You meditate and journal every day?
every day. Yeah.
When did that start?
I started meditating every day. And this is going to be a very specific number, but it was 21 days before I headlined Caroline's in November of 2019.
Okay.
And the only reason why I know it's 21 days is because the day that my friend sent me her login info, it was a 21-day meditation program. And so I was like, oh, wow, this is cool, man. But yeah, I started doing it back then. And then when I was in acting school, I was struggling with scene work in May of 2020. And a friend of mine, one of my classmates, Yalda, had mentioned that she journals to like work through scenes and work through emotion. And so that's how it started.
Interesting.
And then I just
Wait,
kinda
acting
continued.
school where?
In the city. I went to Maggie Flanagan. So I finished my 2-year program on Zoom during the pandemic.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Wow. So, what is the meditation process? Like, how do you... I know it's not... People are like, oh, do you think of nothing? Or you don't, but that's not...
there's a Deepak Chopra app. And you get it at the iTunes store. It's absolutely phenomenal. Probably the best app that I've ever bought in my entire, like, it's the fucking best because it lets you do like 5 to 10 under 5 minutes, like little quick meditation pop-offs, or you do 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15, 20, 20 plus. And then you could search it by what you want to work on, like your professional life, your personal life, your childhood, your emotional well-being. Do you want to do just mantras? Do you want to listen to just music? Whatever it is.
Wow.
And so I just started doing that. I started doing that during the pandemic.
So journaling, like, were you journaling before you did stand up?
No, my mom, being the English teacher, tried to get me to do it during summer vacation one time, and she was like, "You could do this as a hobby." I'm like, "Fuck you, Mom. You get a hobby." Like, you're the one who's into this journaling shit. I've got a life.
Does she know now that you journal? And did she say that she told you so?
Yeah, no, she won't say that though. No.
But she knows though. Yeah. So you mentioned that that you were doing this meditation app in the lead up to headlining Caroline. So what was it like doing that show, and what was it like having the meditation kind of like lead you into that experience too?
Dude, it was fucking wild. It was wild because you get to a point where you're saying your mantras, and so you sit there, you got your legs crossed, and I would sit on my bed back against the wall. You get your pose. So you get your pose, so all your you sit up straight, so all your chakras are like in line. Mm-hmm. So they say you either have to sit up straight or you lie down, but your chakras have to all be in one singular motion or one singular line. Like you can't be curved or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And so he would do his like talk. He would talk about like the practice of the day, and then you get your mantra. And when I would close my eyes to do the mantra, I would.
Yes, that's the portion of the program, everyone, that you know and love. It's the light turned off for a second and our guest got confused.
Yeah, every guest goes off.
Every episode.
Yeah, it's broken though. I don't know how to make it stop.
I don't think it's broken.
I was like, are the lights telling me that the lights are giving me the light, like wrap up?
And, we were trying to introduce some segments into the show, and this segment is the lights go out for 2 seconds, and that's the newest segment on the show. So welcome to the club.
Chakras.
So I'd sit there back against the wall, eyes closed, in the pose, chakras aligned, and I would do the mantras, and I would close my eyes, and I literally, first time I ever did it, I saw myself on stage. So I saw myself on stage at Caroline's, but I didn't see like the details. Like it was just the outline. And alright, so this is, I don't know, man. It's really wild. So I would see the outline of myself, and then where my heart was like this fucking beam of light that was shooting out like fucking Iron Man. And it spoke to me in a very profound way. And like I just knew. I knew that I was going to have an amazing set. Like I just knew. I felt like I was just present. I was going to be in the moment. I was connected to the audience. I was taking them in, letting them take me in. And that was the meditation. Like when I would see that outline, that shape of myself, I would just think about those specific things. And I did it every day. Every day for 21 days. And in those 21 days, I would run my hour 2 or 3 times a day to the wall of my bedroom, and I would just run it and just run it and run it and run it and run it and be just I could just be lights out. And
wow. That's great.
It was crazy because like I actually got sick 2 days before I was supposed to headline, and I was so nervous, but I kept meditating and feeling good about it, and I went on stage. And you can't, because I obviously don't have that clip online, but you see me go on stage with a bottle of water, a cup of tea, and an espresso. and it's hilarious, because like I was doped up on medicine. I fucking got high outside of the club before I went in. And like, so I needed all these things. And I go up with my little fucking my little trio, my little jubilee of fucking coating my throat and waking up, and I did an hour. I was on stage for an hour and 7 minutes.
Damn.
Wow.
And like just straight jokes, and it was, I don't know. I credit a lot to the meditation, because I feel like anything in life, you can get through anything in life, but you have to like put in the work to get to that point. Like a lot of people have like this fixed mindset where they can't, they'll try to do something the first time, and if they're not good, they'll just quit. Like how many times have anybody in this, like you just go to do something and it sucks and it's hard. And maybe you'll go back and try it again a second time. But if you fail the second time, that's it. And so like, I feel like you could just grow. You can grow to learn and do anything, but you have to give your mind time to expand on that possibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Welcome to my fucking TED Talk.
No, but I mean, I think you're right. I think that's like a universal thing, because everyone at some point, no matter who you are, you tried to do something and then you did not succeed in it in some way, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It's just persistence.
Yeah.
And people get easily discouraged.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Also helps that you have a mom who's a teacher or a parent who's a teacher. Do you feel like that aided at all to like your perspective to keep pushing and doing something, or that?
No.
I don't know, because teachers being patient, like encouraging your kids to do whatever, but like that just comes from you. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it did. I don't know. I think we're all influenced and molded by our parents. You know,
whether we like it or not.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'd always wanted to do stand up, and so when I started all those years ago, I was like, well, this is building to a moment like this, and it just so happened it was the week of Thanksgiving. It was 2 days before my birthday, and I was like, this is a fucking huge show. This is huge, and so I just went out and had fun, and just I don't know.
Sorry, Brendan, earlier I interrupted you.
yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, I want to hear more about like your time at Maggie Flanagan's studio, right? That's where you studied. Yeah. So what was that like, and how'd you get into like acting, and what was your experience working there?
So my first time acting, this is funny. I started off as background. I just started doing background work, which is a very common foot in the door way to start going. And I remember I was supposed to work that day. I was working at W.B. Mason, and this is almost 4 years ago, so who gives a shit now? But, like they thought I was working, but I went on set. I was background for the show on HBO called The Deuce.
Oh yeah.
On the first season, and I played a pimp and a hustler, and I was like, well, this is very interesting, and I was on set for 14 hours. And if you had me be a sales rep for 14 hours, I'd want to kill myself. But doing this on set, like it was amazing. I felt that like this sense of purpose. Like I'm supposed to be here. Felt the same thing when I did stand up. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I started doing background on and off for the next year or so, and in the comedy world, there's plenty of people that do acting. So I was at this one club in the green room, and I talked to a comic. I was like, "What do you suggest?" And he said 2 schools. One of them was Maggie Flanagan, and the other was something else. I don't know, but I took that as a sign. That was where I was supposed to go. So, so I sat on it. I thought about it. Ended up getting fired from that corporate job, and I enrolled in Maggie Flanagan's summer program 2 months later, and then got offered the 2-year program, and then I just did that, and in the process, the world fucking ended, and so we had to go on Zoom, and I don't know if you guys are into acting or if you know anything about like the Meisner technique, but doing that shit on Zoom, dude, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, cause it's a lot of like repetitive, like repeating the words, right?
In the beginning, it's repetitive. There's a whole point to it. Like that's what most people think it is, and I think that you're all psychotic for doing it. It's like yelling and doing repetition, but the repetition gets you on your impulses, so you get out of your head, and in your heart. You just get out of your head and on your feet, and so you start fired on all cylinders, man. And it's cool as shit. But like when you're in the studio and you flip out, like there are beds you can hit, there are pillows that you can yell into. I've thrown chairs across the room. But like when you're in your own apartment, you're breaking your shit.
Right.
And there was one day, it was the final scene. And I remember I was so into it. I had the laptop on. It was all on Zoom. And I could feel this insanity, just this anger, rage burning inside of me. And I went and I took my fucking ottoman and I just palmed my ottoman and rifled it across the room. And I couldn't even look because I was so into it that I couldn't even look. I didn't look. You just boom. And then I just let loose and I just unloaded on my scene partner at this monologue that I had to give. And then at the end, I just fucking collapsed and, fucking bawled my eyes out. I was filled with so much rage. And I remember looking up being like, oh my God, I pray to God I didn't break something. I don't even know why I'm whispering that now.
Did you hit anything? Nothing broke? Or?
It went into my cabinet. But it didn't
I thought you were going to smash a wall. I thought there was like a...
That sounded... No, I have a basement apartment, and I think that was one thing that kept me in focus, because I would have broken my hand, because it's all cinder block.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in moments like that, or I guess just ones in general where you are really in kind of where the acting version of is of being in the pocket, where you're really in the zone. Yeah. Are you do you find you're very conscious of the moment that you're in, or is it kind of it's like a blackout almost?
It's 50-50 to be in it or blacked out. I've had both moments where it's just you're conscious of what you're doing, but you can't stop. And I don't know if that's the only way I can explain it. In our summer session, I had a final scene. And again, it's the final scene because it's everything that you learn builds to this scene. So it's all the little pieces of the puzzle finally fit together. And so on the final scene of the summer session, I was in the scene where a man just finds out that his fiancée has been cheating on him. And that's why she won't go on, they were supposed to go on vacation or some shit. And I just fucking lost it. And I'm following her around the studio, in her face, following her, we're back and forth. And finally, she goes to step on she goes to sit on one of the chairs, and I fucking rifle it across the room. And I get up in her face, and then she turns and runs, and then jumps on the other chair and gets on one of the desks, and just starts standing on the desk, looking down, screaming at me. Jeez. But that was the first time where I blacked out, where I was you know what you're doing. You just can't.
Was the actress actually frightened, or is she?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I try to be very conscious of how big I am as an individual. So I can.
Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 6'2", 230 pounds. So I can't afford to get angry. I try to just maintain it as a person. You don't want to flip out. Yeah. And so in the studio and acting, you're allowed to have your emotions. It's the only time where I've really been able, without repercussion. Obviously, you can't hit somebody or do bodily harm, but it's the only time where I've ever been able to play full out and just fucking lose it.
But what did you learn from acting when you started it versus the end? Or I mean, I just your growth and your experience. I'm saying with being considerate of your acting partner, where you do have those moments if you do black out or whatever, and it's just what is it with trust with the other person you're sparring with in a way? Was there a conversation that you have to say or have or do? I don't know, I'm just curious how you tackled it in the past versus now.
Well, I'd never taken any acting courses up until that summer session into the 2-year program. So
the beginning of the session versus the end of the session.
In the beginning, everybody's new. So there's a general consensus. But once things start to go, people start realizing what their limits are. And And so then we just had the point where, hey, listen, it's like you kind of like tap in. Mentally, if you tap in, you like high five. Then you know that you're in the scene. And then when it's over, you tap out.
Yeah.
But really, anything goes. Obviously, like I said, but no bodily harm, no.
But there is a lot of freedom. There's
a ton of freedom
with that.
It has to, you just can't blurt out some ridiculous nonsense. Like there has to be some kind of connection to what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're saying that because you're I guess your mind just goes into just automatic. Where it just shifts into that other gear and you're kind of like now backseat driving and then your mind and body is already taking over this machine, without when you're saying not really consciously being there in a way and still doing. So it's, that's quite powerful.
Yeah.
I've been kind of trying to cycle out like conflict in my normal life and then keep all the conflict in the fake life, the acting life, and then
That's
kind of like live out fights there and not ever have to fight in real life because I'm just like, oh, I already got all of that energy out.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Like I don't have to win an argument. I've already won an argument in
a
scene.
Yeah.
I've already fucked you up in my mind.
Yeah. Who are some actors that you really like watching that either you like take inspiration from or just like ones that you really like in like certain roles maybe?
Besides Ray Liotta.
Right, besides Ray Liotta. He already got his shout out for the episode. And Romano. Them off the table. Who else?
And Raymond Chandler characters.
Dude, you got it. Jake Gyllenhaal, phenomenal.
Good choice.
Joaquin Phoenix.
What are your favorite movies with them?
I mean, I love The Joker. The Joker was phenomenal. Heath Ledger was great as the Joker, as the other Joker. I mean, they were both two phenomenal actors. Heath Ledger's got some powerful fucking movies. Joaquin Phoenix is like the kind of person that like he could do a film every few years, but he does a lot of like non-blockbuster movies. So it's like you have to look for him.
Yeah.
I love Daniel Day-Lewis. Phenomenal. Gangs of New York, My Left Foot, Last of the Mohicans, There Will Be Blood. I love Matthew McConaughey. I'll tell you what, if you've never seen Dallas Buyers Club, it's very intense. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't.
I have.
I haven't because I know it's going to be a very intense experience.
I was uncontrollably crying for 20 minutes at the end of it because it was so powerful.
Just the fact that I knew he lost so much weight and I saw a picture still of like I was just like I could I don't know. I'm just
that was an Oscar, right? He won the Oscar for that one?
I think so.
Right,
He gave himself AIDS for the role.
That's right,
His character acting.
Yeah. What do you think about people who do method acting or just like the concept of method acting in general?
I mean, again, Daniel Day-Lewis does it.
Right.
Phenomenal. Who's another one? Christian Bale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody has a process. And I think that's the cool part about going through an acting program and having a quality program. And I'm not just pumping up Maggie Flanagan, but I think it's phenomenal. Charlie Sandlin is the fucking Michael Jordan of acting teachers. Like, he's amazing. And I think having a studio that can prepare you and teach you the basics and how to build upon them and become an acrobat of the human condition, it'll allow you to find what works best for you. Because everybody has their own different process.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his name? Jared Leto, when he played the Joker in Suicide Squad, used to send people on the set dead rats.
But then it gets to the point for me where I'm just like, it's acting though. Like you don't have to actually. If you were an actor, and this is all pretend, remember? And who was it? Dustin Hoffman or somebody had actually put a rock in their shoe and walked on it for days and weeks, whatever, so he could have an actual limp for the role. Yeah. And I'm like, But you could have just acted that, right? Like, did you have to really? And like, I mean, then it's just actually doing it. I don't know.
But I'll tell you, that's why you have a lot of good actors and you have very few great actors. And that's the difference. You know, Kirk Cameron won't put a rock in his shoe, but you'll see him on every ABC Family Oxygen Channel movie. You know, like, I don't know.
Yes. So he is great, is what we're saying. Kirk Cameron. We are the classmates of the Kirk Cameron.
I mean, he's just one. I mean, he was just somebody I thought of.
He's an interesting figure, though, because he like went to some weird, like, super religious thing now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you're very religious, I'm not talking about the church.
Right.
Just him as an actor.
Yes.
You know, or so. All right, cool. Do something like, oh God, I mean, he has a couple good ones. Or somebody like Tom Cruise, or just like different versions of Tom Cruise. You know, like he's a good actor. He's okay.
But Scientology, right?
But so again, how does this all come back to religion?
It all does. That's the way they all intended it.
Yeah.
I'm curious. How was it doing things that were more dramatic, like that drama versus stand-up comedy? Obviously, what's like how do you feel about exercising each genre? Is that what you call it? Each category?
I'd say they're like muscles, kind of.
Yeah, I like it. The muscle. Yeah. I loved it. Because once I got comfortable in my rage, and in my anger, and in my lust and sadness, powerful shit, man.
Yeah.
If you can create a personal circumstance that's very specific and simple to attach yourself to, and you can emotionally prep into that, if you can emotionally lock into that circumstance, man, you can, and you know your lines, and you're not like in your head, because if in your head you think about your lines, all the prep and all the circumstance, it doesn't matter, because you're going to be thinking about what you have to say. And so if you know your lines, and you've prepped, and you've created a simple, specific circumstance, like, oh man, it's fucking fun. I'm so fired up talking. I get so fired up talking about it. Because acting is it's the human condition. Like, it's just, everybody is going, you're not going to do a role where it's one person in this world is like, you're doing it so people can relate. People can live through something. And I think that's what you want. And that's what happened with Dallas Buyers Club. I watched that film. It was like July 2020, and I was like, that's the acting that I want to be able to do. I want someone to be able to watch what I do and feel like they lived through something.
Hello there, it's Jordan Freed from Late Night Hump, the person you're probably listening to on the podcast right now. I just wanted to let you know that we are coming back with our interdimensional improv show that takes you through space, time, and different realities over the course of an hour-long show that's made up on the spot based off of your suggestions. Our show is going to be Friday, November 12th, 2021 at 9:30 p.m. Get there around 9 p.m. so you could get settled in. It's at the Players Theater at 115 McDougal Street between West 3rd and Bleecker Streets in New York, baby. We're going to be in the Steve and Mary Skuros Theater, the Players Theater, 3rd floor loft. You will have to have a proof of vaccination, but that should be fine for all of you guys. And these shows are really a ton of fun. They're really the best thing that we do. Do not miss this. Go to latenighthump.com/shows to find the ticket link. Once again, that's latenighthump.com/shows for the ticket link. And when you go there and buy your tickets, you could use code HUMP to get 50% off. It's definitely worth the code. Do that for yourself. Get your tickets early before the show sells out, because we're only going to quarterly shows now. We used to do monthly. So come on out, fill out the seats, enjoy our first show all this fall. Back to the show.
It's a special moment when the acting is that good. Or that amazing, where like everything else kind of it just goes away, and it's only like you're only focused on the movie. Like you forget you're watching a movie. Like you don't even you're not conscious of how you're sitting, where you're sitting, what you're not thinking about anything else. You're so zoned in to they take all your attention.
I think that's how I rate movies now. Honestly, it's like I'll tell somebody it was so good that I didn't pick up my phone the entire time.
It's true. Yeah, she fast forwards movies.
Oh, you
not to out you on the podcast.
Wow.
That's fucking.
I'm just like, just give up on the movie. Just give up on the movie. It's on a streaming service. It's not gonna get offended. You don't have to walk by the person with the mop.
No, it's true.
Or the popcorn.
So here's the thing. This is also the problem because we have a production company and editing, producing, writing, film, like direct, like you. I like doing knowing the process in depth like that. When I watch a movie, I kind of ruin the experience for myself. Where I'm just now thinking about like, what did it come like? When we always shout like, wrote the script, because I'm like, I know what happens. This thing's gonna blah 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 blah, because you're thinking about it in writer's brain. Or like I'm just like looking at that, I'm like, what a nice transition. I'm like, what if I feel like I'm up where I'm like, what digital effects did they use? It's this. I'm like completely like just. God.
Yeah. I think that like over the course of your life you just like you watch things differently depending on what's important to you at that point in your life. I think especially I think there's a certain point where like obviously like age wise like something you're watching you're like like when I was a kid I didn't really understand this 40-year-old character. Now I'm watching it now and I understand it. I think the same thing with like whether like you like the acting or like the style of it or the music of it.
Like, I could never understand The Sopranos, and then I moved to New Jersey.
Feel the same way.
Sorry,
James Gandolfini, big Meisner student. Not just in size, he was big in
big on it.
Yeah. But don't say anything more, because Brendan and I haven't finished watching the show yet.
We're almost done with Sopranos,
I can't wait to see this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I've been hearing mixed things.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I feel the same. We still want his.
I just want young versions of Silvio and of Junior and of Paulie Walnuts, and then I'll be happy.
What was the thing you said that someone's like a theory is that Christopher wrote?
The theory that Christopher wrote the script for the movie.
That's so funny.
That's such a great fucking conspiracy.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah, especially because it's Christopher is just it's like very funny and endearing watching when he gets into all like the Hollywood movie stuff. Yeah. So anyway, who's your favorite Sopranos character if you had to pick one?
Oh come on, Tony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's such a obviously I know he's such a bad person, but
yeah.
Like, you just don't want to like him. Because, I mean, or at least I don't. Like, I get it. I know it's a character, but he's such... And then when Chris... Alright, if people... I'm going to spoil shit if you're listening.
But not all the shit, because we haven't seen all the shit.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the thing with Christopher, like, the thing when, like, it happened with Adriana, it just... Sorry, this is I'm getting riled up. Yeah, of course. That's everybody.
I'll bring out a picture.
This is nationwide. Yes, make sure you stay hydrated.
Yeah, I know.
If you're smoking with us, smoking along. But anyway, the show just gets me. Because all the men are just, but they're like so bad, and they're just evil sometimes. It could be very. But
and yet you want to keep watching it though.
Exactly, I can't stop you.
Well, you want to root for the other characters, but they all have everyone in that show all has their downfall.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what makes them fun to watch.
I loved Paulie Walnuts, and then I found out that he lived at home with his mother.
Yeah.
Like,
that's my favorite thing about him, actually.
Dude, I'm fucking 65 years old. He's 60 years old.
Oh my God, Paulie.
I think one of the funny things that actor does in that portrayal of the character is like there will be moments, especially when he is. Thank you, Judge. And Judge is our water sponsor for this current pour.
Yeah,
so
Waterboy.
Enjoy the waterfall ASMR. Brought to you by Life.
Good.
Sounds like
no,
somebody's taking
That's
I'm filling it. Let me fill it.
No, it's gonna go all the way to the top. Don't do that.
Right. Isn't that good?
No, it's one of the metal bottles where I can't... Oh, alright.
And that
Everyone's
audio sample is called...
what's going on? Yeah, we can hear there's something happening.
That audio sample is called Couple Goes to the Waterfall. So anyway,
Polly.
Polly Walnuts. Like I love when he's like has these scenes with his mother, or and he like looks like a little boy. The way that his face looks, he looks like he automatically is like transported back to that role. And it's so funny to see like these tough guys get brought down to size.
Oh my god, their physical acting, just their facial expressions.
Yeah, I mean, Italian men are scared of their moms. It's true.
Yeah.
What's your family's background?
So this actually is one of my new favorite jokes. I've just found out last year during the pandemic was I don't know why I say last year during the pandemic. Like everybody knows there's a fucking
Which pandemic was it again?
We're still in this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's been like almost 3 years.
Yeah. So I found out that I am German, Irish, Scottish, and Norwegian. With a little bit of Eastern Russian, like Polish Eastern Russian.
Cool.
Yeah. But growing up, now I have gray hair, but when I was younger, I'd be tan and jet black. Like it was so dark brown that it looked black. And everybody